Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Hey everyone! Did you know, according to the sacred text bound in human flesh known as the Necronomicon, that our Dark Lord Cthulhu rests in his sunken city of R'lyeh on a giant pile of money? Well, if you don't want to see the world devolve into a black abyss of gibbery madness, or you just want to support our show, go ahead and head over to Patreon.
You can find that at patreon.com/alientheoristpodcast, or head over to alientheoristtheorizing.live, where you can suppress the Dark Lord by buying our merch, or really stick it to him by leaving us a 5-star review and subscribing.
Thanks a lot, and Flicknui Mlknafa, Cthulhu R'lyeh, Wagnagel Fatagan.
Wagnagel Fatagan to you too, Dan.
Throughout the 19th century, a widespread fear of being buried prematurely took hold of many European and North American communities. Rumors and stories of people who seemingly passed away due to an illness, waking up to try and claw their way out of their wooden coffins or stone mausoleums. The obsession with this fear going so far as to spawn patents and prototypes of coffins that could be connected to a small bell or some other device above ground to allow the recently deceased to signal a graveyard caretaker to come to their aid. But in a number of towns within the Northeast United States, people were not as worried about burying their dead as worried about their dead were staying buried. For almost 100 years, a panic gripped the towns and cities of New England, where it was believed that the recently deceased were returning from beyond the grave to feed on the essences of their living family. This fear led to numerous recorded incidents of macabre exhumations, occult practices, and in some cases, even ritual cannibalism. This case file joined the theorists as they discussed death tolls and daywalkers in the New England Vampire Panic.
Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing Case File 122, the New England Vampire Epidemic. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
I'm Andrew, and isn't it the Panic?
I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
Oh, okay, good.
Did it say what did I say?
Epidemic.
Epidemic.
Get rid of those fucking.
It only said it in
I was just-
giant letters on the front of the fucking screen, but
It was right there. It was sitting there for like 10 seconds.
I was just really focused on the unbridled enthusiasm I bring to the table every intro.
I felt it.
And you know with me and reading how that goes, so.
I missed that enthusiasm over the holidays.
Yeah. Yes, it was a nice winter break. That was the longest break we've taken in
Quite a while.
Well,
We actually didn't. We took a break from the main show, but we did some stuff on the side. But
yeah, if you're a Patreon supporter, you got stuff right through the break.
we got hammered.
Oh, yeah. A little six-pack power. It was a good time.
Changed it up. Got a little drunk.
That beer I drank, it was like 8% a bottle. It's like
Those beers catch up with you quick.
I was like, oh man. Woke up the next day. I only had like 2 or 3. I was like, ugh.
Did you have a sunken chest?
Sunken chest.
Feeling a little weak?
Oh,
Maybe it was a vampire.
Oh shit.
One of your relatives passed away
Recently
recently,
died?
Dan?
sucking away your life force.
Huh? You ever think about that?
Well, we don't live in the same town though, so
Is that a requirement though?
for the New England
Proximity?
for the New England vampire panic it is.
Either way, I think we need to start up the barbecue just to be safe.
Fire up the Barbie.
So what's this one, Dan? Let's get into it.
Vampires.
So we are talking about the New England vampire panic, which was you could say just about a century long string of pretty much superstitious folks digging up a bunch of graves and I want to say, not violating bodies, but like
Doing
Pretty
what's
much-
necessary to make sure the dead
exactly
are in fact
right? waging an bridled war on the undead.
unprovoked.
Gathering around the community and having a cookout. You know what I mean? Like it's like a real community spirit event.
Yes. Lots of community building events
Right.
Centered around burning corpses
Of their family members.
disembowelings.
Were there
Because
were there state crossbows or any other type of cool weapons used at the
Holy
time?
water, garlic.
Garlic, UV bullets,
I don't think so much.
UV musket balls.
They weren't mentioned. I don't
bad.
think so.
Too bad.
UV musket balls would be totally rad.
That would be sick.
This started. These things pretty much kicked off around the 1790s. That's when you get your first kind of rumblings about these rumors of vampires. Usually, the events would be centered around a single family in a town. And again, this is about 100 years is in the same area. So Salem and those areas, Massachusetts, Connecticut. These events took place 100 years after the Salem witch trials. So, witches weren't enough. Now it's vampires.
I go vampires.
Witches were played out, man.
Yeah.
Old news.
It's like
Old
witches were
fucking
done.
news.
Old fucking news.
Vampires.
Well, in some of the research I did early on, they didn't even refer, like in the 1790s and early 1800s, there was no mention of vampire. They never used that word. They just used spirit. But later on, when the term vampire is coined, it ties in very nicely to it all.
Very convenient.
Right. And one of the first mentions of vampirism, so not vampires in name, but like the actual act of kind of draining the life from another person from beyond the grave, was attached to the one case of Rachel Harris,
I was waiting for a
who was from Manchester, Vermont. So Rachel ended up dying. And then just about a year after her death, her widower, Captain Isaac Burton, married her stepsister because I guess that's just what you do.
That's what you do back then.
Yeah. And she had a great name, Hulda.
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 Hulda. Could be Hulda.
Yeah. That's a great
good
like
fucking name.
I could just put the picture in
strong
my
name.
head. That's a strong name.
That's a
That's a
strong-
strong.
You're-
That's a strong name, Hulda.
Hulda Harris.
Hulda Harris.
Sounds like a power lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, she definitely-
she was just Trapzilla. Walk around the farm.
She opened all
Just-
the fucking pickle jars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even fucking need them.
Yeah.
Plowing the
Yeah,
fields.
that was until she also fell ill.
What?
Right.
How would she do that?
Fell to the wasting sickness. Right. She started, usually the symptoms that people were looking for.
She turned
in these
into a
cases-
Hilda.
A Hilda. From Hulda. I guess, yeah.
Hulda to
It sounds
Hilda.
like a thinner name.
Transformation.
So then you have these symptoms that a lot of people would look for in these types of cases, and it would be like the wasting away, general sickness, weakness, that a lot of times would come on quite suddenly. Like people who were healthy one day, within a few weeks or so, they'd start, wasting away in front of their family members.
And like by wasting away, he means losing weight, spiking massive fevers, a productive cough. You know what I mean? Always a chill, gaunt look.
Losing mass amounts of blood through 2 puncture holes in the neck. Correct? Not good.
Losing blood through your respiratory system when you cough.
when we talk about these types of vampires or these vampires, it's not so much they're worried about what you would today is the classic view of vampires that fed on blood. These
you gotta
vampires,
throw that out in your mind. Just
so when you're looking at vampires from the New England vampire panic, people were looking at vampires of the more kind of life force stealing vampires. So if you ever saw the movie Life Force, which is a great movie,
I haven't.
Patrick Stewart's in it, and it has one of the most beautiful women ever to be put on screen. I can't remember her name. She was like a ballerina, but it's great. Check it out.
She was was she hot?
Yeah, and they would suck the life out of people. The life force, drain them away until they were dead. And usually it would take place, or the events would be isolated to a single family, like I said. So you'd have like a sibling would die, a brother would die, then another brother would die, and then the sister or the mother, right? So they figured that these
it was in the
spirits, right? These spirits were coming back from the grave to feed upon the life force of their families.
So kind of like we would refer to that more of almost like a zombie rather than a vampire.
Well, they never
Well, it's
really.
not eating.
The
Yeah.
bodies didn't leave their grave though. The
Oh,
bodies
so the-
remained, and it was more of a spirit. They believed.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
spirit would exit the grave and then feed on the life force of the relative in order to stay in this realm.
to linger, I guess.
I
you
guess.
could
I don't know,
say.
'cause
I like that theory actually.
It sounds good. Like when I read that, I was like, and I was thinking of vampire in my head of like, getting the soft supple neck kiss and draining you. I was like, oh, this is way cooler. Like a body in the. It reminded me of like this would be like something you'd see on Supernatural, right? Like call the Winchesters in. They got to dig up a corpse.
Well,
sure it's
speaking of
dead.
digging up corpses, so if we go back to Rachel Harris's case in 1793, in the middle of February, like we said, community building event, 500 residents of Manchester went out in the freezing cold and decided that the best way to deal with this predicament that they were in was to dig her up and pretty much remove her liver, heart, and lungs, and then burn it on a blacksmith's forge.
Well,
Where do they
and in
get that
this
lore from?
Rob Zombie. Dig to the ditches,
There was-
burn to the witches.
Dracula?
Yeah, it's a hit back then.
It was a lot of times you had like this was common practice in European countries and stuff of burning the organs and stuff, and this lore of these kind of spirits is where it comes from. So they're like in this time there'd be posters up on taverns being like, you need to, if you have these symptoms, like you need to find a relative who's dead and make sure they're decomposing and not still together. If there's blood in the heart, you need to burn the organs because they've become
the
one
only
of
way.
these spirits.
Well, not only do you have to burn the organs, though, but in some of these cultures and some of the people with the ideas said that you would actually have to like consume the fucking smoke from the burning organs, or some of them even like formed it into a tonic and drank it.
You're drinking or smoking your dead relatives?
Fucking right.
Yeah, some parts of these rituals included types of cannibalism. Like you were inhaling the ashes of your dead relative, or it was there's mention or rumor of some of the things were either put in a drink or a type of tonic or medicine.
You know the worst part about this is? This really wasn't that many people ago.
It was only like, what's this, 1800? Just before 1800?
Yeah.
So what's that, like 5-6 generations?
Well,
or
they
something?
even did it into the later 1800s, like 1880s with fucking a person we'll talk about later. Like that's not that long ago,
It's
man.
true. My great grandma, she's passed away now, but she was born in like 1894.
Jesus.
So that's only like her grandma.
people
Her
ago.
grandma would have been alive at the time.
Now,
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up, but Zell, we've been saying from the get-go, your skin is getting more and more translucent the longer this podcast goes on.
It's like I got a lot of dead relatives buried in this town. So I got a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting vampired.
Those fucking teeth do look a little pointy.
Yeah.
One's perfectly fake. This baby's a rock solid now. I could probably bite through concrete with that thing.
Always wondered why there's no mirrors in here.
You guys are on to me. Busted. I even got these. I got these lights though that give me a little color. I'm a little
That's good.
less
You're
white.
looking a little better now.
Thank you.
Uh,
Middle of winter.
But we haven't even got to the best part of the Rachel Harris story. What I thought the best part of the Rachel Harris story is after they did all this to try and save Hulda from the wasting sickness or the affliction that was taking her life, she still died. So the villagers pretty much decided that, well, if she wasn't a vampire, Rachel Harris wasn't a vampire. She must have been a witch. So
she was a witch all along.
Switcheroo.
So we did the wrong thing. We should have burned her when she was alive.
We did it backwards. Well, next time, good sir.
But I thought you kill a witch by like if they drowned, they were not a witch.
That's how
No,
you
there's
tell
many
if
ways
she's a
to
witch.
kill a witch, my friend.
Many
That's
witch.
how you tell if she's a witch. But if to kill a witch, you can burn her or decapitation. I think decapitation works in just about every case.
I think that's
because
the prime case in cryptids or any type of thing like that. Just chop the head off.
pretty much
Good
if
start.
that comes
Good
off,
start.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So after this case, so that was 1793, and just about 3 years later, you have another case which happened in Cumberland, Rhode Island. This one involved a young girl named Abigail Staples. Now, Stephen Staples had been granted special permission from the town council to exhume the body of his 23-year-old daughter, Abigail, and she had actually recently died. And so, because after her death, her sister, Lavinia, had actually started showing the symptoms that we've been talking about. So
Consumption.
Consumption.
That's what they call those symptoms. Consumption.
Consumption. Wait,
Yeah, because the sickness
wasting
was
disease.
Consuming
Okay.
it.
It was looked like it was consuming you. You're just like
Getting
all
sucked
weak,
into your
gray
body.
Skin. Yeah, it's
Gross.
and
Kind of like how
What I
Zelly
find-
looks right now. That's all making sense.
Dude,
It's
it's,
just what
it's
it
my
is.
plant-based diet. It's my plant-based diet. That's why I'm shedding pounds like a motherfucker. That's what's happening over here. I'm not a vampire.
blood isn't plant based.
It depends.
What was interesting about this case is that Lavinia had actually told members of her family that she had been having dreams of some sort of shadowy figure sitting on her chest at night and drawing out her breath. Like she wasn't able to breathe at night. So, and during one of these dreams, it was said that she actually had called out Abigail's name. So you kind of have this, you also have this, it could have been sleep paralysis.
Totally.
Again, it could have been a symptom of the consumption. It could have been a part of that,
Right.
like just not being able to breathe, while she was sleeping and things like that. But a lot of people talk about how the whole kind of the demon sitting on your chest thing,
Yeah.
like that's
Common.
something
We've
that
heard a lot of that.
right.
Well, yeah,
and
like
that
shadow
still
people?
happens to people today, even if it's not related to.
So
to the
shadow
sickness.
people that's the vampire.
Could be.
That's the vampire essence coming from the body, from the dead person, and it's sucking your life force as you sleep. Is that what we just
Very
made?
well
That's
could
what-
be.
That's the connection. It all
Yeah.
makes sense now.
That
I'm
makes
gonna
sense to
sleep
me.
really well tonight. That's good. I'm excited for that.
Dan's the only one who actually gets it, though. Dan, you got a vampire.
So yeah, I know. No, but they don't take my breath. I just get sleep paralysis. Like, and it's really weird.
For now.
You don't have any random
now.
fucking demons popping a squat on your chest?
I don't think so.
Fucking nutsack on your chin? Hey, buddy.
I would, hey, what's up?
You still sleeping?
Just tickling my chin hairs.
sleep
just
there,
like,
buddy?
How's your breath?
How you doing
Shallow?
down there? See, having trouble breathing.
Little short of breath?
That's nice.
As he
Gonna
like
leave you
adjusts.
breathless. Yeah.
He sucks in every time you exhale.
Oh God. That tastes good. What'd you have for dinner last night? That's good. Like that. So Stephen Staples actually dug up his 23-year-old daughter, and the strangest thing is that nobody really knows what happened after the exhumation. Nobody knows, or what happened to Lavinia after that. It just kind of ended. Don't know if it cured her. Didn't know if something happened to them. Nobody really knows. There's no record.
Which I mean, works perfect into like the hysteria of the time. They're like, yeah, they had another vampire. Like they dug her up. They're like, what happened? We're like, don't know.
It worked.
But yeah, maybe it worked.
You know exactly what happened. They fucking dug her up and they didn't have any of the signs. There was no blood in her heart. You know what I mean? She had fucking decomposed and they're just like, well, let's just put her back in the ground. Just pretend like this didn't happen. Just put her back. It's fine.
It's all right.
What do you mean? We didn't even do that.
No, 100%. Dude, they're digging them up. They're burning. They're burning something.
Yeah, of course.
And they're smoking.
Sure they did. Or else you'd have to fucking bury them again. Way too much work. Way too much
Burn
fucking
them.
work.
Get rid of the ashes.
Yeah.
Easier.
No. We're not fucking. I'm not doing that again.
The next case that kind of comes up is one that took place in Dummerston, Vermont, and this was the case that had to do with the Spalding family. Now, Leonard Spalding,
Yeah,
had
the heir
actually
to the
had-
Spalding fortune.
exactly,
Oh, the
Tennis balls?
multi-sport
Yeah,
ball manufacturer.
Empire.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Well, they also
Dog
make.
chew toy.
They also
fucking
make.
manufacturer.
Yeah, they make everything.
Yeah.
Baseball
I
gloves.
think.
Good chance.
Unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed, but maybe confirmed. We're not sure.
Not
Double
sure.
check that.
Hashtag look it up for us.
Well, yeah, he would probably be the only sole heir because Leonard Spalding had 11 children, adult children,
Wow.
that were brought low by the consumption. 11 children.
Drop them like flies.
Vampires.
The fact that he had 11 children is impressive, that there were
Yeah.
11 children. But
Was
then,
that the way it was back
to
then, though?
lose 11?
That seems more than normal for back then. Even 11 kids.
Is it?
I-
Yeah.
like 5, 7, maybe
I'd be like, oh, 8. Like, that's a lot. And then it's like
9, 10, 11.
I mean,
And-
like, what else do you have to do back then?
Just because there's
Other
no
than make babies.
there's no
question.
birth control
Yeah.
and you're banging all the time, so
Exactly.
you're just
Got
having
nothing
kids.
else to do. You don't got
Banging all the
Netflix. Like, what else are you supposed to do?
Candlelight.
Well, chores are done for the day. Better get to the banging.
Exactly.
That's exactly how it was back then.
I'll bend you over the old horse tresses there. I mean, I guess, like, yeah, this is a good point. You really just don't have much to do. Plus back then, it's really like more children, translates to more free labor.
That's
basically.
true. Farm.
And-
Well, and-
farm
I mean,
family.
you still have to feed them, I guess.
Realistically,
you-
like, the chances of you fucking having full-term children that are raised and live into adulthood back then were really rare. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's why you
play
had to
the
fucking,
odds.
right? And next thing you know, you start a fucking hockey team. You're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's great.
It's one of those ones though with like 11 kids dying though, and you all see them going the same way. Like, this isn't back in the day where it's like it's not good medicine back then. So it's like I could see you getting desperate. You're like, not another one. Like, what? You're probably trying everything. Like, some honey. You want to try some honey in a tea? I don't know. Like, rub some honey on your arm. I don't know what's
Buddy,
going on. Like
a little bit of
and then
cocaine and a
someone's like,
cigarette. Fixes
you're
everything
like-
back then.
Someone's like, hey, have you heard about these vampire things? Of like a relative like sucking the soul. You're like, maybe, like, listen, I don't care. Like, let's try it. I'll do anything. And I think that plays upon people like wanting to do anything for their kids because you're like, if you don't try it and like, you know what I mean? What's the worst that can happen? It works. So
well, exactly. You run out of options at that point, right? Like, what else are you
Yeah.
going to do?
like modern medicine of 1794 has failed you. You're listening to the snake oil salesman who's riding down the road in his trolley cart. Burn the dead. That'll save him.
Well, okay, so here's my question: is you have a random guy show up at your fucking town with a little fucking leather briefcase and something that resembles a stethoscope, and he's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm a doctor. All right, cool.
I heard you
What
had vampires.
Yeah, like what else do you have to prove that you're a doctor in 1700?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I swear I'm a doctor.
Can you imagine the first guy, they burn it and it's like they burn the person and it doesn't work and the consumption's still happening. And then he's like, well, this is going to sound unorthodox. Have we tried to eat the ashes?
So when like on that topic of doctors, Was there no? When
Let's
did,
use
when
that
did,
term loosely in 1790.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
right?
but
Like,
when did this is a question not really relevant. When did like medical school start? It couldn't.
I mean, they had doctors, but most of the doctors were in the more populous cities. Like these events that took place mostly took place in the rural areas, like rural towns. So it's like if you had a doctor, like a doctor's going to come out there, he's going to take days. To go
Right.
out there.
well,
Like a
even in
day-
the bigger cities,
2 day trip.
the fucking like barbers were performing surgeries. You know what I mean? Like this is like, let's be honest here.
Buddy, have you seen my hair? Every time I go to a barber, he performs surgery.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I'm sure like the people that you would be getting out there, would not be medical professionals. Like they like if they're the ones coming out to the rural villages and stuff like that, because probably any real at that point, any self-respecting doctor would not go out to these areas to treat people unless it was like, they knew somebody or it was family. I really don't see that happening. But
So-
you would more than likely, have, snake oil.
It's,
sales.
all it is just some random guy traveling around New England who's got a fetish for burning people and feeding their family their fucking organs in a juice.
in
sits there-
juice.
Guy's drinking. Just fucking drink
Well,
that shit.
there
Sip it.
wasn't always
Tastes good, doesn't it?
There wasn't always the cannibalism. That didn't always happen. The burning. In the case of Abigail Staples, we were talking about, one of the beliefs was that what would happen is like if you buried your family members in close proximity, there would be a type of vine
Sorry,
that
you
would
mean
grow.
the Spalding family?
Right, the Spalding family.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Staples. That was
Staples?
the last
Oh,
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heir to
I know
the
what you're talking
Staples.
Heir to the Staples Corporation.
Or I
It's
mean,
all tied
Spalding.
together now, boys.
Spalding family.
Sorry, the Spalding family.
Yeah, that's the one.
So the Spalding family, in their case, what they believed, they kind of latched on to the belief that when you had vines that grew between graves, and then when these vines encompassed and connected each one, when it got to the most recent one, then the next person in the family would die. So what actually resulted in happening, and we know this because you can where they buried their son Reuben, who was buried in 1794, his grave was actually set apart from those of the other family members.
So the vine wouldn't get to him.
Yeah.
So the vines couldn't get to
Man,
him. That was the
were they
that was the
grasping at straws back then?
So now it's a vampiric vine which infects the
Yeah.
graves.
Right. There were tons of beliefs back then, not just about vampires, but
There's
kind of
no
just
more-
like anything vampire related, or kind of that supernatural. Again, they were grasping at straws. You have all these people dying, and you had no idea what was happening. You got to bring whatever you got to kind of try and figure it out. They were doing whatever they could. So that was one of them. And
Some good reasoning there. Listen, there's this vine that's growing in the graveyard.
I mean, at least a vine is like a real tangible thing that
It's
does
true.
grow in fucking graveyards instead of being like, oh, it's a magical spirit that just rises and fucking infects people.
But you know what though? Like it's again, we laugh at that, but it's like they had no idea about diseases or nothing. So it's like people are just wasting away, and you're like, you see the pattern of like not realizing it's contagious, that it's like it killed them and now it's killing this person. Like it's happening stage by stage, slowly to every person, like along the way.
Well, good thing.
Not realizing.
Good thing in today's age we don't believe in any imaginary things that
100%,
affect
yeah.
our lives on a daily basis. And if we talk to them and do weird things like that, they'll
Pay
help
for
us
them.
or they'll leave us a
we
will.
pay for them. But in their defense, if me back then, I got a wild imagination, I probably would have came up with something even crazier. I'm sure.
Oh, 100%, dude. I'd be drinking the tonic.
Oh yeah, I'd be fucking smoking all my relatives. For sure.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.
So, like we said, we were surprised by one of the families having 12 kids. The next case from Exeter, Rhode Island, the Tillinghast, they had 14 kids.
These motherfuckers.
Jesus,
14.
man.
That's
Baby
a
banging.
14 kids.
Is that one wife, like one woman?
Yeah,
with all
leave
those
her
kids?
alone, man. Jesus.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
a strong. That's a strong lady to pop.
Dude, and
popping
giving
them
birth
out.
back then? Giving birth back
14.
then. You're lucky to live through that shit.
Yeah, but think after you did 5, you'd just be used to it.
You just fucking walk out. What's up, Dad? Just fucking walk by.
I imagine like she's just like walking in front of the house one day and it's just like, oh, I feel the labor, and just like squat down and just like pop it out.
Oh my God. I've seen a lady give birth and catch her own child.
Get the
As-
fuck
oh,
out of here.
It was weird, man. It was one of those home births. It was super weird.
Was it the 13th or 14th?
No, I don't. Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was too shook. It was too weird.
14 kids die.
Well, not 14 kids. So you had about like, I think about 6 of those kids had died. And that was by 1799. And so when they got a hold of the bodies, because they figured that was the best thing, we got to dig them up because you got to check, right? When they would dig up these bodies, what they would check for is the kind of the state of decomposition. And they said that everyone except the one girl named Sarah, who was the first to
Yeah.
Sarah was the
yeah.
first to die. They found her body. They said that everybody else was in advanced stages of decomposition, but she wasn't.
And she was the first
Her
one that
body
died.
wasn't. You know,
So she's
they
been
had
dead the
thing-
longest?
Yeah, she had been
Yeah.
dead the longest.
So she
Interesting.
was the vampire.
Well,
Right.
She
So
was the
she-
start. She was the start
How,
of the
like,
vampire.
what kind of timeline are we looking at here? Like, how long ago did she
Um,
die as opposed to the last one? Do we know?
I didn't
Let's
come.
see, I don't know exactly.
I didn't come across the timeline of how they.
year.
Yeah,
Been a
they
year.
died relatively.
Fuck, a year of decomposition, and like, if she's not,
Not a year, with a couple months, like, you know, like just like
Yeah, but it all depends on when. If she died in the cold,
yeah, but
it might be different.
the other bodies that have died, you know what I mean? Like, it would have warmed up. If the other bodies have decomposed in that weather, then it would affect her body the same way.
It's true.
But does like at what point like does the temperature drop? Does it stay more like a fridge 6 feet down?
Well, like after you get like so far, like 3-4 feet down, like it
The
never
temperature doesn't change very much.
doesn't really change much.
So if you get them in the ground early in the cold weather.
Like, what if I'm just devil's advocate here. For this to happen, say she died in winter, right? And by the time they got her body into the ground, she was frozen solid,
Yeah, that might make a
Oh
difference.
yeah, then she probably would stay fucking frozen.
right? And then
Yeah.
they bury her. So that layer, it's like, let's say 6 feet down, it stays 3-4 degrees. It doesn't change. That's fridge temperature, baby.
Right. That's
Keeping it
and that
cool.
makes a lot of sense because back then it wasn't I don't know 100% of the details with the Tillinghast case, but at least other cases, it was common to put them in a crypt for a while. So you'd put them in like a stone, like, you know, one of those little. It was back then they were just made of stone. You just put them on a stone
Sarcophagus?
slab outdoors for a couple days.
Ah, right.
See, and that makes sense because if she was frozen, goes in, and then it's later, it's like spring and summer, and they've been sitting out in the heat for a couple days, then get buried, they're going to decompose probably way faster than the girl who was frozen solid months ago.
It also makes sense because it's a fucking coffin and they're vampires.
Yeah.
To me,
duh.
yep. Vampires,
Science.
especially this one.
Fucking science.
Right. And the thing is, at least one person wrote that after they burned her body, right, they removed her heart and they burned it in front of the family home, which is
Community event.
Savage.
That's what you do.
they said that there was peace in the home,
Oh shit.
that nobody died. until the seventh person died.
Until
another
the
person
next
died.
person
It's
dies.
because everybody else is getting sick, and they're all just like, I refuse to die because I don't want them to burn my fucking body.
Yeah, I love that. No one else died until the next person
The
died.
next person died again.
Oh, that's
So
great.
in their reasoning, they're thinking that because she's a vampire, that's why her corpse is not decomposing.
But it's not.
Right.
Here's the thing, though. It's not only the decomposition that they're worried about, or lack thereof, right? That's not the only sign that's evident. It's also certain things like them looking like their hair has grown longer, fingernails, almost looking
Yeah.
healthier than they did when they were alive. Now that they're
Healthier?
dead. Yeah, they look better now that they're dead as opposed to when they were alive.
Well, I've heard fingernails keep growing, right?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
No.
Well, do they keep growing? Your skin pulls away from the nails.
Oh, is that what it
appear
is?
that they
Oh, okay.
grow longer.
Basically, like think of like a dehydrated fucking fruit,
Just
right?
kinda,
Like
like,
you lose all
shrivel up.
your tugger, your elasticity, right? Because you lose all your.
Did you say
hydration in your
tugger?
skin.
Tigger?
Cougar.
It's called tugger.
Tugger?
Oh, is it?
Tugger.
Really?
Tugger.
That's a real word?
Yeah.
I thought you
It's
just
like-
made that up.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
how you check your
Oh, when you're dehydrated,
hydration.
right? You're supposed to pull your thumb, and if it like doesn't spring back right away,
yeah. Well, you actually try it on like your fucking like a muscle.
oh, like actually like
Skin, yeah.
forearm or something.
Yeah, that's where I would check it. or
So
when do check
if
it.
I was dehydrated, I'd pull it, and it would just like
And it wouldn't-
slowly go back down.
Exactly. It wouldn't go back like you do it on yourself right now. It goes back right away. If you
Right.
did it and you're massively dehydrated, it would stay there.
So after a
Now, what
giant,
if you're
giant
dead?
bender, after a giant bender in the morning, I'm gonna try that and see how dehydrated I am.
I don't mean you might not be the best person to do that on because I think you're probably usually dehydrated and sickly and
Yeah, you
belly
might
full
tear
of
your skin.
McCormick candy bananas and I just
Dude,
don't
I'm
make
sucking life force
Like
left and
paper.
right.
Like,
Just
it just disintegrates.
I just pull off a piece of my skin.
yeah.
is this
look at
normal,
that.
guys? I'm pretty dehydrated. She drinks some water.
This ain't snapping back.
Suck a little more life force here. It's been a slow week.
Who else we got? Who else is a vampire around this time?
The next case you kind of run into is you have a case from Foster, Rhode Island, by the name of Nancy Young, who died at 19 in 1827. And after she died, her sister quickly followed her and had a very quick decline, and looking like she was definitely going to follow Nancy to the grave pretty soon. So, even Nancy's other siblings started to decline. So everybody started getting sick. So the only thing they could really, her father, Levi Young, asked his neighbors and his friends pretty much, we need to dig her up. How could you do
Hey, we need to dig her up and smoke her.
yeah, we're not, how does your neighbor come over? He props to him going to your neighbors and oh yeah, you need to borrow a cup of sugar. No, I need you to help me dig up my dead daughter.
Yeah, and this is why
And they're
vampire.
like, okay.
Vampire.
Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, okay.
Because
Yeah, sure.
vampires.
It's a real
Do
concern.
you got your own shovels? Should we bring our own shovels?
Yeah, how many?
It's weird to think that because this is now we're getting 30 years later in the same area that this is still a strong enough myth or legend that people believe that this is something you need to check for. And I still think, hold on, that it's people out there they have nothing. They've ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
It's I've
And
heard of
most these
this.
things. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you know what's happening? Is every single one of these situations, there's this cloaked figure in the background, kind of hiding. You know what I mean? He's got a hat on. But you can kind of see under the hat, he's wearing some glasses. You know what I mean? It's dark out and he's still wearing glasses. It's kind of weird. But whatever. You don't ask any questions, and everybody's questioning. The whole community's there, and they're like, "What the fuck's happening? Why is everybody getting sick?" And this guy in the cloak just walks up to somebody and whispers, and they're, "It's a vampire." And then it just travels.
Boom.
And then they light them on fire, and then you can see the figure in the background still, and you just hear him really quietly say, "Some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill," and he disappears.
And this stranger looked a lot like Wesley Snipes.
Exactly.
So
Went
you're
back
saying
in time.
This
is Blade
in this
4.
reality,
That's next
Blade
Blade.
doesn't
This
even
is the
do the
plot of
job.
Blade
He's just
4.
third party Blade.
This is the plot of Blade 4. He's just going back in time.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's still trying to ice skate uphill.
Stop him. I'm going to stop him from whence they came.
Yes. Then he would stop himself, essentially, wouldn't he? Well, I guess he would never. His mom would still be alive, and he wouldn't be a vampire.
He's a half vampire. So
Half man, half vampire.
Well, he'd always be a vampire.
No, he wouldn't, because his
Yeah,
mother was
'cause
bitten
he's
by
now
a
a
vampire
vampire.
while she was pregnant. So his mother
He's
would not be
past-
bit by that vampire.
Oh, but we're not going to start a time travel.
I'm not trying to.
That's what
yeah,
it
the
is,
ti-
boys.
The time loop. The time
He
loop.
doesn't just
Blade 4.
lose his fangs.
Yeah, they just fall out, and he looks up.
They just
that's
fade
it.
away.
Yeah.
Like McFly's
No,
parents.
just like
glasses
they
disappear.
fall out. Like there's two massive gaps in his teeth. It's just
He
like-
just loses his canines.
yeah.
Vampire
He looks
teeth.
like the kid from what's the Netflix show? Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Just the whole front grill just falls out.
So after that, so they did the whole thing, and this is one of the cases where they did do the inhale the smoke from the burning remains ritual. So they go ahead and did that. They thought for sure that would work. It didn't. 5 more children died after that.
Must be a witch then.
It's like they're doing this, and it's like they feel like this is the only option that they have. But again, this has been going on for what, like 30 years now, almost. They've had similar cases and things like this, and I can't imagine. I mean, they didn't have internet back then, so it's not. They didn't have internet. They didn't really have like circulated
even have fucking
newspapers in
phones,
these
man.
areas. Yeah, nothing. So you wouldn't even know in the other town, probably like however far away they were, like a day's trip or something like that. You wouldn't even know if this stuff happened in the other town, I guess. But
And it would
like,
hit
this is
close
still
to home
happening.
when it was happening to like each of your family members.
Yeah, and most of the people, like, they're doing these things and it doesn't work. And I just had to. I'm like, this is nuts. Like,
not
you didn't hear, like, it didn't work. Like,
Now that guy smoked his whole family. He's still losing kids.
right? So it's like,
Smoke them if you got them, man.
like, because this time it'll work. Like, like you're digging it up and you're just like, this time it'll work. Yeah.
We tried the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys. We're going pancreas, appendix.
Yeah. That was also one of the things that they would look for in these bodies, which I always thought was kind of weird. That they would look for the organs that were retaining blood. So if it was the heart, or usually it was either the heart, usually the liver, like those are the 2 most common ones I kept reading about. And like they would check those for blood. And if they had blood in it, they're like, we got to burn that one, or whatever organ still had blood in it.
Blood, yeah.
I wish I wish it was still this simple around. A lot of entertainment.
There'd be a lot of fucking people being burnt.
A lot,
Be exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of community
people.
events.
Keeping your shovel polished, like,
Yeah. You would like just finish like refilling a grave, and then somebody be getting sick. You'd be like, well, let's dig up another one.
Waiting
Over to the
all
next one.
week.
Let's get into the most popular case.
Oh, you mean the main event?
Somebody asked in chat if there was only girls that were being dug up or that were being considered candidates for vampirism. No, in 1845 you had a 24-year-old Lemuel Ray who died at the age 24. He died at 24. And then his death was followed by his father just a few years later, and then his brother. And then even after that, 3 more years, his oldest brother, Henry, also took ill. And the family decided that the only thing they got to do, you guessed it, dig it up and burn it up. Like,
Do they smoke them or eat them?
yes, they did. They did all that, but they
Make them into some nice cakes.
It didn't work. Henry still died.
I wonder if it's like a majority of the stories are women, just because it's like it's more fitting with the tales of back in the day of like
Witches and shit.
Yeah, then you could say they were witches. I mean, if it
Yeah.
didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, I guess so. Yeah. You're like, it's a witch.
Obviously, she's a witch.
Cover all your bases.
Didn't work. Witches.
There
Vampires
wasn't
doesn't
quite
cut
the
it.
equality we see now. So
But one of that one's really strange because that region That's actually like that's a known case, but there is evidence to suggest that it wasn't the first case of the kind of the vampire thing. What I thought was really interesting, I found an article that in the 1990s, a couple of kids who were kind of playing out in one of the woods stumbled onto an unmarked graveyard with 29 bodies buried in there. I don't know if the kids saw 29 burials. I know they found at least like a skull, like they came across like a skull that had probably been dug up by either scavengers or things like that. But once they had found like a couple extra bones, they figured something. So they had state archaeologists come in and dig up the whole thing. And what they found is so not only were people, taking out organs and stuff like that, you would actually have people who were rearranging the bodies. Like they would dig it up and then they would remove the head and then they would turn it face down. And then they would even take the femur bones and then they would put them on the chest. And what some archaeologists describe as like it looked like the Jolly Roger, shape on a flag.
Well, because I remember they would turn them upside down to stop them from escaping the grave, right? Like that was one of the ways of stopping them from coming back. But I don't know what the Charlie creating the cross is. It was it a cross or is like?
That was like just taking. It was like taking they took the femur bones out and they crossed them over their chest.
This guy's not going to know what to do when he comes out because his femurs are going to be all messed
Can't
up.
walk around. It's got no
Can't walk.
legs.
What you going to do
Got
now,
no
buddy?
femurs.
He's gonna get up and he's gonna notice right away. These are my femurs. You ain't going nowhere, buddy.
We got him good. Yeah, fuck this guy.
They're like, we've tried everything else.
So it was like something like that? Is that like what it was? Like the head between the femurs? Was it like that? See that?
That was the femurs on the chest.
Oh, femurs on the chest. So this one's
Yeah, so
This is a
skeletons
different
had
one.
Pretty much been rearranged. Like the skull and the thigh bones were put on top of the ribs and the vertebrae.
Try and hold
so
them
you'd have
down.
the head and the head on the chest, and then that's how they describe it, is having the thigh bones then put in there. And so it would just be like every time I read it, they describe it as the skull and crossbones motif. Like that's how they describe it.
Everybody knows vampires hate pirates, so that's the only way
that's
to do
a
it.
common
common.
lore right there.
Yeah.
In Witch's vampire pirate game, pirates cancel out vampires. Everybody knows that, right?
Of
Yeah.
course.
It's because it got the peg legs.
Aye.
Nice.
Sharpen up one of those peg legs, you got a nice steak.
Yeah, give a nice spin kick.
Boom.
Yeah.
Straight to the heart.
And through analysis of at least this specific corpse that they had found, this one, they said that this had happened like roughly 5 years after the death. So it's like 5 years they had gone back and then dug it up and figured this is what we need to do. But just waiting
Again,
so
it's just
long
a
for that
bunch
to
of
happen.
idiots who are watching everyone die and be like, oh, well, fuck, it's still not working. What else can we try? Like, dig them up, flip them over?
Hey, you know what though? It's just about as effective as thoughts and prayers. So, and was people still
know
doing
what?
that shit.
It is.
So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, you'd have to put yourself in their shoes again. Like we said, like desperation, it messes with your mind. Anything that you think you could possibly do to think about, not losing, especially not the fact, I would say that if nobody in your family was sick, you wouldn't do it, of course. But then if you just saw person after person after person dying, then you're like,
Yeah.
what are we going to do?
all right, it's time for the fucking main event. We gotta get this
for
one
God-
going. I've been chomping at the bit
goddamn
because it's the only fucking
vampires.
story I read.
The one everyone's heard of.
Right. Oh, and all of these cases, well, we're going to talk about the one, most of these cases, we'll bring it up later. All this stuff happened before Dracula had been written.
Yes.
Right. So
Which is
all this-
why, again, we said at the beginning, they weren't using the term vampire when they said this. It was spirits and this of draining the life force. It wasn't until after that.
Yeah, all
Where
came
if-
from Europe, the Slavic nations, their lore back then, and a lot of people settled in this area, like northeastern United States, and kind of took hold there. And yeah, vampire not till 5 years after this last case we're going to talk about, or something like that.
Just about. Probably. So now we get to probably the most. What is considered the most well-known
Yeah.
or well-documented case is the case of Mercy Brown from Exeter, Rhode Island. So
Bad Mercy Brown.
bad Mercy Brown.
The baddest vamp in the whole damn town.
Downtown.
Exactly. So you had George Brown, who was the father of the family, and he living with his family on the farm there in Exeter. And the first person to die in the family was in 1883, and that was his wife, Mary. She succumbed to her mysterious illness, and then
Oh, I wonder-
6 months later,
Now, was this the Mary Brown of Mary Brown's Chicken?
Mary Brown's chicken
Oh,
and taters.
yeah.
Some of the
There you go.
best
I think it's
fast
the
food you can
heir.
get.
I think so too.
Don't quote me on this,
I bet you.
but I believe it's the heir to the,
The
Mary
heir
Brown.
to the fortune that is
Chicken
Mary
and taters.
Brown's
Big chicken.
Big chicken.
Big chicken.
Big chicken.
big chicken.
Big chicken. Fuck big chicken. Guys and all their
Fucking chicken.
fucking chicken.
Oh my goddamn chicken.
So many commercials. When will it end?
Now I'm hungry for chicken.
Hey, where were we? Sorry, what?
All right, keep going.
Talking about big chicken.
Mercy Brown, baddest vamp in the whole damn town.
That's right, Mary Brown.
Right. So 6 months after Mary Brown dies,
Mary Brown.
dies.
Mercy Brown. Now I'm confused.
No,
No,
Olive.
So you're missing it, Zell. Let me break it down for you, okay?
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Mary Brown. Okay?
Mary Brown.
Following me so far?
Mary
Yes.
Brown wife.
She dies of a mysterious illness. 6 months later, Mary Brown falls ill and dies.
Which is Mary Olive Brown,
Yeah.
the eldest
Mother-daughter.
daughter.
The daughter,
Yeah,
also named Mary.
Mary Olive.
Are we on the same page here?
Yeah.
Not Mercy.
So
No, not
she
Mother Mercy.
dies.
Mother Mercy's
Several-
still alive.
Mother Mercy's still alive.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
Then
very-
within the next couple years, 19-year-old daughter Mercy Brown dies.
Well, okay, backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Son, was it Edmund? His name was Edmund, right?
Isn't that
Edwin.
Edwin. So Edwin, the son, gets sick. The father's like, "You're my only son. I only got one. I got you, and I got my daughter left. I'm gonna ship you out to Colorado Springs to get healthy." Edwin leaves to go recuperate, get healthy, because apparently that's the thing to do in Colorado Springs. And while Edwin's gone, Mother
That's-
Mary or
Colorado
Mother Mercy
Springs up
gets
by
her.
Aspen? That's where the beer flows like wine and the women flock like the salmon of Capistrano.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's why he went there.
But on that point, around this time, yeah, Colorado Springs, but there are also a lot of what they called sanatoriums back then, right? So even a lot, there's the real famous one. I think that's like Kentucky, Tennessee, one of those ones that's really famous. Most of those giant, they were like these giant resorts almost, where they would ship people who were suffering from these diseases.
vampire syndrome?
So you had, yeah, from vampire syndrome.
Okay, so to backtrack, Edwin's sick, sends him to Colorado where the beer flows like whatever and he's banging. And then while
flows
he's
like
gone,
wine.
Mother Mercy gets sick.
Damn.
And then she dies.
No.
Yep. And then Edwin comes back from Colorado because he's getting sicker, right? He's deteriorating and he decides, if I'm gonna die, I want to die at home with my family.
With the vampire.
And then the dad's kind of like panicking now because he's like, I got no fucking kids left. I have my only son now, so I have to do whatever it takes. And then his fucking neighbor comes over with some advice.
What was that?
Hey, George.
Wow.
I imagine he like comes over. He's like, "Hey, George, I heard you have a little problem. Well, I've got a solution for you. For $6.99, you dig up your wife and daughter and burn them.
Daughters.
Kill the vampire daughters. Kill the vampire souls. Your son's gonna live."
Well, they didn't know, so they wanted to dig them all out to find out if one of them was in fact a vampire, right?
And they were going to find this out if they were not as decomposed.
Well, those are signs, right? Like, what are we looking for? We're looking for somebody who's not far along in the decomposition.
As they should be.
We're looking for somebody that could possibly look like they're healthier than they were when they were alive, somebody with longer hair and longer fingernails, and someone who potentially had blood in their heart or liver or throat.
Yeah, blood in the heart and liver. That sounds very uncommon.
Well, you'd be surprised though, because like your blood does decompose too, right?
Yeah, I guess, but I just feel like, especially your liver, like the filtering organ. I don't know. Either way. So what happens next?
That's where all the blood goes.
That's what I
In
mean.
your liver.
So it should be in there.
Yeah. But that's what they would always try to figure out is be like, why is there still blood in here? Because for them that
That means
that's-
vampire.
Well,
Yeah,
well, yeah, and it's there's something to like when some people decompose. A lot of times, what will happen is the brain will actually liquefy, right? And when the brain liquefies, it gets backed up into your heart, into your lungs, right? Because that's what perfuses your brain, right?
So
That's
you get like brain juice throughout your body?
well, not throughout your body. It'll back up to your heart and your lungs, right? It's not going to
old brain juice.
Your heart's not pumping anymore, right? So it can't pump it to your periphery.
Okay.
So it's going to back up right to your lung and your heart.
Makes sense.
And when your brain liquefies, it actually is kind of a browny red liquid. So which can give the appearance as fucking blood, right?
That
So
makes
anyways,
delicious brain juice.
so old Nabes over there convinces our buddy George to dig up his family. And then I'm going to let Dan talk
No,
about it. 'cause
no,
it's
no,
way
no.
more-
Get your shovel, George.
your shovel.
You're
Convinces-
digging up your family real soon.
He convinces them, and he just goes, "Listen, if you want to do it, do it." He's like, "I don't really believe that that's the case, but I'm willing to try anything. So if you want to dig them up, fucking dig them up."
Here's a shovel. Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
Then he slams the door shut.
All well.
They're like, "That's the only yes
Like
I
we
need."
thought it was funny, George. We thought it was funny.
This whole time, though, I will say, because we've been kind of having a laugh at the doctors of the day and, how qualified were there. There was a town doctor at the time that was saying, this is fucking stupid. Do not dig up your family and burn them and
This
drink.
is some type of contagious disease. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
None of this
digging
makes
it up.
sense. Well, he's like, no.
they're chewing-
To his credit, he was saying, like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's definitely not vampires, and you're not going to be getting anywhere by drinking fucking people's body parts.
And they're like, "Listen, shut up. We need someone with a can-do attitude in this town. And right now, you're not helping. You're
Take
not
that
helping the
negativity and
solution.
stuff
You're
it."
helping the problem." As they're like 3 feet down in their frozen hole, just sweating.
Looking at
If
the
you don't want
doctor.
to help, you can go. All right,
Hey,
we
you
don't
look a
need
little
that
pale,
attitude
my
anymore.
friend. You're looking a little pale.
Yeah.
Starting to look a
Digging
little
this up in,
vampire-esque.
like March, like it must have been freezing like back then.
Oh, it'd be a nightmare. But that's the thing, right? So they dig up all these families' all these bodies, right? And lo and behold, Mercy Lena Brown, the daughter that died, her body was still in very early stages of decomposition, which didn't make sense for how long she'd been buried, right? And then they, you know what I mean?
So she was the baddest vamp in the whole damn town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She still had blood in her heart. She also had blood around her mouth.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's
Case
it.
closed. Case closed.
Yep. And they got that doctor who said, see? See?
Yeah.
Fucking
And he's shaking his
vampire!
head. He's like,
Finally, I'm fucking right. One out of what, like fucking 80 people.
What's that fancy medical degree get you now?
So the plan was we find, okay, so it's Mercy Brown. So what are we going to do? We're going to have a little community barbecue. We're going to fry us up some,
barbecue.
we're going to fry up some fucking heart, put a little seasoning on it, put in a fucking tonic, and Edwin's going to drink it.
Come on, Edwin.
Yeah. Well, what I want to know is, did they fucking tell Edwin what was in there? Or were they like, no, it's good. I promise. Medicine.
Here, just drink this.
I promise
medicine
you.
not
he was,
I
dude, he was
promise
probably
you.
so sick.
I
He was
promise
probably
you,
like,
if you
he's
drink this.
that close to death, he probably would just opened his mouth and they just poured it in his mouth.
And then
Like,
lo and
drink this.
behold, he fucking improved.
Interesting.
Oh my God. He improved. They say he got remarkably healthier, and then he fucking died.
And he died.
And then he died.
And then he died.
And he died. There's also, I can't remember if it's this case or it might have been another one. I think I heard about it, but they had found her body had looked like it was in a different position than when they had buried her. And so there's suspicion that she had been buried alive, which was a very more common than you think occurrence or fear back then in like the 1800s. Like people were really afraid of being buried alive because I think it may have happened like once or twice.
It's
Especially with these
It's happened
kinds
quite
of
a bit
diseases.
probably back then, I bet.
There's definitely like there was a whole big craze. I know it must have been, it was either in the later 1800s or during the 1800s where they had this whole thing where people were actually, there are patents for people to construct these little certain devices that would reach down into the grave, and then they would have like a string that was attached to like a finger, and that was attached to a bell up on the thing. And I know people have seen, like, you've probably seen them or you've probably heard about them, but that was an actual thing. Like people were, you know, you'd bury somebody or they'd put like a tube down there, like your grave would be, you know, there'd be a tube down there just in case you wake up.
So you can yell till you die.
Do you know how much that would suck to be a grave digger? To be like under,
Just about as bad as fucking burying these people and taking them up a week later to burn them. Fuck.
All right, let's get into that. You know how long it would take to dig these bodies up?
Fuck that.
Well, it'd take you and Andrew like a week.
No, are you kidding me? A fucking month. We would stretch that shit. It would be a fucking month. And we'd be sitting there and we'd fucking dig for 10 minutes. Then we'd have a sit. We'd have some spits. We'd have a talk. We'd have a bullshit. Somebody'd walk by and we'd get up and we'd dig really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking hard work. They'd walk away and we'd sit back down.
The hard thing would be
I'd have a hole deeper in my cheek from the spits than we dig in the ground.
The spits pile would be fucking higher than the fucking thing is deep.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't have spits back then, boys. What are you going to eat? What are you going to eat?
Yeah,
they didn't have sunflowers in 1800s.
You want to know what we were going to be
Probably
eating?
not. They probably didn't have roasted sunflower seeds you could buy at 7-Eleven.
No, you can't get roasted sunflowers. We can get your fucking relative's roasted heart and fucking pancreas. Like,
Yeah, but you got to dig it up. Digging the hole the second time would be easier because the first time you would get rid of all the rocks and shit, and then you'd pile it back up.
That's a good point.
Second
I never
time,
thought
it would
about
be
that.
loose dirt packed on top. It would be much easier to dig.
it would also be frozen though.
Yeah,
And
but
it would be like really,
depending-
because a lot of these, like when we go through these, a lot of these, like they're digging people up like it would be like early March, like January, February.
Now, it all
Mostly
depends on the
February.
area. I don't really know the Northeast too well. I don't know how cold, but like,
it gets fucking cold.
It sucks. That's what I know.
but
But here's the thing, like
after like a foot or two, the frost is gone.
So no, but like let's get into this now. When you say it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be difficult to fucking dig these people up because the ground is fucking cold. What does the cold also do? Preserves things, right?
Usually.
Right? Not only that, what happens when the weather is cold and damp?
Nipples get hard.
People get
hard.
sick.
People do get.
Oh. Oh.
Well, okay, well let's get into that. Like, obviously, do we think these people, this vampire craze, do we attribute it to vampires?
Well, all you got to do is look through the list of symptoms here, right? Like, what are these people suffering? What does it look like? You have this random sickness or whatever it is caused by vampires that's spreading amongst communities, mostly in families who are living closely together, right? That's who's being inflicted the most. It's spreading throughout these families, right? You're getting fucking a cough, usually followed with hemoptysis, which is blood in your fucking
Black
cough,
lung.
right? You're getting pale. You're getting weak.
Skinny.
It's called consumption for a reason because it looks like your body's consuming itself, right? Basically, it looks like your immune system's completely shut down. So do we know of anything that can spread within close quarters and thrive in cold, damp areas that can cause those things
Vampire.
other than vampire,
Yeah, vampire.
Vampire.
right? All
I'm
you gotta
at a
do is
loss.
watch fucking Wyatt Earp.
Witches.
Doc Holliday was a motherfucking vampire, apparently. Because that guy
Yeah.
had TB.
Yeah,
We gonna get into
that
it?
makes sense.
Tuberculosis is a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
And other
A
other
likely
disease.
culprit, tuberculosis.
Well, and a lot of people with TB and stuff say like laying down, especially going to sleep, is harder for them to breathe. You get these stories of people being like, I felt like something sitting on my chest. And it's because the symptoms get worse when you're laying down.
Well, exactly, because like a lot of people who will be suffering from stuff like TB and other pulmonary diseases like COPD, your alveoli, right, where the gas
What's
exchange-
COPD?
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Some big fancy words. All right.
So your alveoli, where the gas exchange, right, takes
Raviolis.
place in your fucking lungs, where you're
Raviolis.
exchanging oxygen. That's getting your alveoli is getting filled up by fluid, whether it's sputum, right, like spit, mucus and shit like that, or fucking blood.
Sputum.
with ogre.
I've
It's
never
a
heard that
turgor.
word.
Sputum?
I'm learning a lot
that's
of
a
new
word.
words.
Yeah, I
today.
learned tons of new words today.
Jesus Christ.
This is a
Sputum?
history class.
You've never heard of sputum?
Sputum?
It would be like a fucking biology class. But
I've only read it. I've never heard someone say it though.
it's like when you cough up fucking green gunk, like it looks like mucus.
Ew, yeah, that's
Yeah,
sputum.
That's sputum.
So Linda Blair and Exorcist spewed sputum.
No, that's vomit.
Yeah, it looks
That's
like
pea soup.
sputum to me.
No. Okay.
All right.
Anyways, so that your alveoli is getting filled up with fluid, whether it's sputum, blood, whatever the fuck, and that's why it's harder for you to breathe. And especially when you think about it, when you're lying flat, right? It's fucking covering more surface area as opposed to sitting up where it rests at the bases of your lungs. So
yeah,
when you
like, now gravity's pushing it full lungs instead of all at the bottom.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So that's why you're getting short of breath and it feels like you have pressure on your chest when you're lying flat. That's when you see people who have COPD or like congestive heart failure and stuff like that. They all have to sleep propped up with pillows. They can't lie flat.
I get one of those nice lazy boy recliners. So you can
Exactly. That's why a lot of elderly people sleep in chairs. It's
been-
easier for them to breathe.
I've been thinking about doing that just because it's comfortable.
That's because you're a vampire. It has nothing to do with fucking being comfort. You have consumption and you're a fucking vampire.
Yeah,
Well,
this
not
is how it
confirm
starts.
nor
For Zal.
deny
He
the
slows us
vampire.
into it. He goes, "Yes, I like sleep sitting up. Then I like sleep. You know what? I'm going to try, guys. Try this new thing: sleeping standing up.
And then it's
And
you
then
know
next
what's
thing-
even
Down.
better? Sleeping upside down.
Upside down is good to get a lot of blood flow to your head.
I mean,
I'm marking
you can
you
switch
6
it up
months.
and
He's going
sleep
to
in
be
a
like,
coffin.
it's my veggie diet, and I'm hanging upside down every night. That's why it looks like this. Has nothing
It's
to
for
do
my
with
back,
vampires.
guys. It's for my back. It makes me feel good. It stretches my spinal cord out.
That's fucking funny. But so you know how it's kind of being contained to these family groups, right? It's because tuberculosis, it's spread through droplets. So it's actually pretty hard, believe it or not.
I have to cough in your mouth,
Exactly.
or
It's
likewise.
like, you know what I mean? Like when you cough and you have TB, it's like think of like aerosol spray,
Little
right?
spray, yeah.
It sprays out
It's spread. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways, but it's also spread through infected milk as well.
like breast milk.
breast milk.
No, like milk that hadn't been pasteurized, which didn't become a popular thing until the first half of the 1900s.
Really?
I didn't even fucking
So
know
I didn't know that.
If one family's drinking bad milk, though,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's
Boom.
spread.
So the milk.
So
the
that's one of
TB
two
comes
ways.
from
It
what?
could be infected milk. So it could be infected milk, but yes, it is also airborne too.
So how does the milk get infected in the first place?
The bacilli, that the bacteria that actually causes it, there is some. If you go way back, it's like the bacilli that causes it. It actually occurs in bovine as well. Like there's a version of it,
Oh,
and
so
so
the
there's this-
bovines are immune to
Nobody's
it
really
then?
100% sure as if it crossed over at some point, but they know that it does occur in milk.
It could either mutated or crossed over somehow. Maybe
Interesting.
Right.
that's
Like
I
they've
didn't know that.
seen evidence of like they can detect, or they have ways of telling that if you were afflicted with tuberculosis, depending on like skeletal structure or things like that. But they've seen cases. I think that's like the earliest one was like 17,000 years ago.
Jesus.
Wow.
So they've known about it. So they know from that they make the reason, they kind of reason out that it probably wasn't. You'd think it would maybe be because we domesticated animals, like the domestication of the cow, but it was before that.
Wow.
So it's
Huh.
Crazy. I
so
didn't
they're not. Yeah, they're still like not 100% sure where it came from. They do know that there is a type of it that occurs in bovines, and then like it can move into it infects milk, and so that was one of the ways that you would contract consumption. So yeah, if you
Interesting.
had
Mother
somebody in
Nature's
your
a
family who was
bitch.
sick with it,
Well, don't drink another fucking creature's milk. It's
Mother
weird.
Nature is a
Fucking weird.
cruel
no, but
mistress.
we pasteurize it.
It's fucking
now,
weird though.
so-
Still, it's weird. Don't drink it. It's,
I don't drink.
Also,
not-
yeah,
it's-
that is
it's milk from another creature.
I haven't drank milk in a long time.
No, this is gross.
me neither.
I've had milk products, but I haven't actually drank a glass of milk since I was probably 18.
Really? Because it
I'll
looks
still
like you
put it in
drink a
my
lot of
cereal.
unpasteurized milk.
Got a lot of tuberculosis in me. Is that what you're saying? I never get sick though.
Because you're
Listen,
always
you-
sick. You just don't know
just-
the difference.
Chronically sick.
You did just say, "Hey, I like sleeping sitting up. It feels better."
Who doesn't like sleeping in a lazy boy? You fucks. If you could tell me right now, if you could get a $2,000 lazy boy, and you would over a bed, you wouldn't take it.
No.
What?
I can't sleep in a lazy boy.
Bed.
Oh man,
rather have
you
a
guys are
bed.
missing out on this perfect.
Missing
sleep.
out on what? Tuberculosis? I think so.
fucking.
Zell's gonna be like, hey guys, you need to come and check out my new Lazy Boy. And it's like, yeah, but I put it like inside a box here. And like, Zell, that's
Didn't even
coffin.
take it out of the box. It's perfect.
That's the coffin.
Okay,
I'm
so
telling you.
okay, so here when I was doing the research on this fucking story, I had a few things pop up in my head. 'Cause first of all, I was like, the mother died way, way, way before the fucking kids died. Like
Right.
years. We're talking years. Okay, so that was my first question. And my second question was the fact that, okay, so we all know that this family's contracted this disease. Well, what happened to old fucking Georgie boy? George lived a fucking full life without getting TB. Right? So,
Some people can be immune to it though.
well, exactly. So I did some research, and apparently 1 in 5 are immune to TB
Just naturally.
naturally. And it's weird in this situation because out of the 5 people, he's the one person that survived.
So the odds just play perfect in his favor.
Exactly. And then the other question I had was, so the mother died way before the kids, right? Well, it turns out that you can have what's called latent TB, which basically what happens is your immune system will encompass the infection in your lungs and it will fight it off until your fucking immune system breaks down, and then you get hit by the TB, which could take fucking years,
Right.
right? So you could be presenting fine, you know what I mean? Probably what's happening to you right now,
Ooh.
Zell, and then you get hit by the fucking TB later.
Or that's
Man,
a very
you guys
good
are
point.
gonna
I
feel
like
bad
that
when I come down with
because-
tuberculosis in a year or two.
If you come down with tuberculosis in 2020, that's your own goddamn fault.
I'm vaccinated.
It's
Thank God.
I hope I am. I don't know. You get vaccinated. That's like a normal vaccination, right?
Yes.
All right.
Is it a normal
no,
vaccination?
I don't
It's
think
usually-
so.
I don't know.
I think
Normally,
you-
it's only
it-
if you travel to countries that
And it's
have
job
it. I mean, I've
dependent.
gotten it.
I had to
Yeah.
get it for work.
I got a whole bunch.
Yeah,
and I
I
went
get
to
it for work,
Asia a few times, so
So
did
you
I get
have
it?
it.
Did I get it?
Yeah, you have it.
All right, I'm safe then.
You probably got it. Yeah. I like this. This got me thinking. I was like, when I was looking at like 1880, I'm like, man, 100 years ago, that we had no idea about tuberculosis, and we are just
2
like
people.
vampires, dig them up, burn them.
2 people.
In 100 years, what are like we think we're like they're so stupid back then. Like in 100 years, what are we doing now?
How stupid will we be? Yeah.
How stupid will we look in 100 years of something we're doing? You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man. In 100 years, people are gonna look back and be like, their scientists warned them in 1972 to stop burning this fossil fuel at the rate they were, and they did it for another 100 years.
Even back, 100 years are gonna be like these motherfuckers were eating sugar that just feeds disease.
Cancer. Just
high
grows it.
fructose corn syrup, not even natural sugar, just artificial, high concentrated sugar, putting it in every type of product, wrapping it up in a package, and eating it for lunch, serving it to their 4-year-olds at kindergarten.
So good though.
It's delicious.
It's
so good.
though.
So good.
I don't think I don't think it's vampires. Like at the end of the day of this one, it very to me spells out a case for like just have no idea about diseases at that time.
Or life force
Vampires.
vampires.
Life Force
Different.
Vampires.
Because we think of
There's
vampires.
a movie called Life Force, and she sucks out the life force.
Is she a succubus?
People. It's a real thing. Well, technically, she's a space vampire. But
Oh
that's
shit. That was a better name than Life Force. She's just a space vampire.
pretty good.
Is that the hawk girl you're talking about?
It's a fucking rad movie. It's a fucking. It's a good movie.
I've never seen it. Now it's on the list.
It's ridiculous. You didn't look it up. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, Dan, I just looked it up. That girl is pretty good.
Yeah.
looking.
Put her up.
Throw
Let's
it
see.
up on the screen. Throw it on
Here,
the screen.
let's what do we got here?
Who's in it? I think I know.
Is this her?
Patrick Stewart's in it.
Is this
like
the
one
girl?
other person.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's her.
Oh yeah, she's sucking the life force
Yeah,
out of
that's
this
her.
guy right here.
Oh, he's toast.
He's
that
fucking
guy's
toast.
fucking
Life
toast.
Force
We
it
almost
up.
got. I didn't even check. There's all probably nudes on here. We're
I mean, I would probably let her suck my life force. I'd
I
be
mean-
fine with that. That'd be okay. There'd be worse ways to go, like
Yeah.
TB.
It's a weird ass movie, but it's actually pretty good in a weird way. But
good in a weird
it's
way.
fine. Yeah.
Kind of like
All
Mandy.
right, so final thoughts on the vampire craze. Do you guys give any credence to legit vampires?
Me and my
in the United
kind have been
States?
sucking the life force out of people since the dawn of mankind. So no,
25, 1 in 4 chance it's vampires.
I'll give it a 1 in 5. I'm gonna say because of all the TB going around, it was probably a good time for vampires to be like, I can blend right in.
they use it to
Blend
their
right in.
advantage. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So it seems like if there was a vampire, it'd be the heyday for vampires back then.
Heyday.
But
I find it interesting that it's always like New England. Like now when you think of New England, like Boston and like those places, you think of like Harvard, like places that are like medical. This is where you go to school, and these Ivy League colleges and stuff like that, really educated places like that. And then back then it was like, nah, fucking vampires, witches everywhere, burn them, everything. Like
well,
Burn
from
everybody.
what I
That's
heard,
what
is-
everybody.
They sacrificed all those supposed witches and vampires for all these fucking Super Bowls. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah. I think there was also another thing they were blaming like Native Americans, so there was just like a whole bunch of just like, you know, it's goddamn New England is a creepy place.
It's always sucked, is what you're saying. Fucking New England.
New England is a creepy place. That's why it's in so many That's why Stephen King writes about it so much.
Glad the
Lot of-
one
lot
of the
of-
things
lot of
I
history.
had read is that the area is very like open to like different beliefs and medicine practice back in the day. So it wasn't uncommon for them to be very accepting of like foreign medicines and foreign practices and that kind of thing. That's one of the things I read. Do I like?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much I lend to it, but it was basing on why they believe vampires.
Well, that
And
place
it
is
wasn't-
Vampires.
that
you
place is the
say?
melting pot
That
of Europe.
sounds right.
So everyone was coming over from Europe, from all those different countries. They all had their own superstition and lore, and it all got like just melted together. That's why you had witches and vampires.
Well,
and
there
who knows
was-
what else
they've
was
been-
over there.
Talks of like ancient vampires. They weren't called vampires in like ancient Babylon and shit like
Yeah.
that. Like this is, you know what I
All
mean?
cultures,
Ancient
yeah.
Egypt, like, you know, so of course this shit's spread just like fucking religion.
That's because it's real, you
It
guys.
probably
Yeah.
is.
Death by vampire, real thing. Can't prove me wrong.
1 in 4 deaths.
Anything
For
else on the New
vampires.
England? Any final?
What do you
final
guys
words
think
on
happened to
the New
Mr.
England?
Conspiracy? Really
He's dead.
gone.
Vampire.
Zelly got to him.
Yeah.
That's all it was. We had to burn his heart. And his liver.
He missed one too many podcasts.
That's it. Toast.
Actually, I don't know actually what did happen to Mr. Conspiracy.
Talked
to
I
him at
ruined
all?
Christmas and he left.
He's in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's living in
In
Vancouver.
Vancouver somewhere. He's in Squamish, I believe, but he works out of town, so you
You never know with that guy.
never know.
miss-
He's always gone.
I miss him. I'm not gonna lie.
One day we'll get him back on.
I miss that guy.
Maybe one day he'll buy some gear and he can come on Skype.
Yeah, it's never happened. But if you think Andrew's bad,
Ooh.
I mean, I am pretty bad.
I
but
do think he's
you ain't
bad.
seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing yet, brother.
Yeah.
Baby.
All right, let's get into some space news.
Ooh yeah.
Zell, did you have anything queued up that you want to start with?
Let's start with CRISPR.
CRISPR. That's the one I didn't have up because I sent you guys that by mistake. But a third, China quietly announced a third CRISPR baby has been born.
So CRISPR, what was CRISPR again?
Isn't it like gene editing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like gene editing. So they go in, they've found a protein that they can go in and essentially slice the genetic code and put in what you want.
So they're basically
in the
making
few-
Homelander.
Yes.
Yeah, if-
exactly.
Terrifying.
Exactly. Exactly.
That is scary.
There was some twins that were born. Doctor did use some CRISPR technology very unethically. He was disbarred, kicked. He's not allowed to practice, and now China has come out and said, "Well, we kind of did it again." So, 30 years we're gonna have superhumans, basically.
I don't even think they know about this, if this baby is even alive or what exactly its sex is, its health status, or where there's any complications or anything.
Yeah.
But this doctor did it. So
Yeah.
I mean, CRISPR has the potential, if used correctly, to eliminate like genetic diseases, a bunch of other terrible shit that happens to humans, but also to make designer babies where you can I want an athlete, I want him to be 6'4", roughly, and I want to be fucking Megatron, the next Megatron in the NFL. I want to create that
Wish
baby.
I would have known
Buddy,
about this before I had a kid.
You could take a gene sample, like Megatron could make a side business of selling his genes,
Yep.
and then you'd be like, "My son is Megatron."
I just want to mention that I've never been more attracted to you guys for even knowing who fucking Megatron
Mentioning
is.
Megatron?
That is beautiful.
We're talking about the Transformer, right?
Yeah. I want a baby who can
Yeah.
transform into
Calvin Johnson. I know who you know who he is.
But
We know who
if
he is.
that's an interesting topic for you, we talk about it at length on Future Unknown, which will be coming out soon.
Have we said what Future Unknown is? A new podcast brought to you by
New podcast produced
us.
by Meteor Studios with me and a couple of Dans who aren't Dan.
a couple of new Dans.
couple of smat
Couple
people.
couple of new Dans that got degrees. And we
about
talk
shit.
about futuristic technology. It's gonna be good. You like it. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, like Christmas stuff, we got talk about that at length.
Got a lot of new actually podcasts coming this year. Stand by.
What else we got? Let's talk about the mysterious swarms of giant drones that keep appearing at night over Colorado.
These drones, was it started just before Christmas pretty much?
People were actually messaging us about it, being
Yeah.
like, these lights, you can almost time them that they're going up. Like when they're going to show up. And people didn't know what they were at first, but now people are assuming it's drones.
Assuming it's drones. It started on the December 23rd, and they're saying about 200 or 300 feet in the air, and it looked like people were saying they were doing some type of search grid pattern. And it was about 17 drones, some people counted, and they kept just doing a search of like an area which isn't heavily monitored airspace, so there's not really any laws for anyone to say whose drones they are. But someone was grid searching this area. I think it's done now. As far as I didn't see any new reports, but it went on for like 10 days over the holidays.
Because they found what they were looking for.
Yeah, it was,
Bigfoot.
it
Well,
was a
and they-
fucking
they
down
appear around
alien
7
spaceship.
o'clock.
Bigfoot.
Down alien spaceship. We didn't see it crash.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Or Bigfoot. Or they're dropping Bigfoots.
Drones
They're
are?
dropping Bigfoots.
Baby Bigfoots?
Maybe. Like Baby Yoda.
El Nasty Bombs. Throwback, eh? Like that, Dan?
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody saw it, I saw the videos of like the whole like the Shanghai New Year presentation where they took like hundreds of drones and they put them all together instead of having fireworks. They
Yeah.
put them in a coordinated like they made pictures like moving figures of like humans. Like it's
Sounds
pretty
fucking
it's pretty
nuts.
rad.
I want to see that.
But I'm like putting drone swarms together is now becoming, I think, like kind of easier. So it's like if you really wanted to do it, if you had somebody had the resources, had a couple of drones, you put them all together.
The weird thing is the pattern, though. It's not like it wasn't like a show. It's like they're going in a
Grid
grid,
pattern.
and every day around 7 o'clock they'd appear and they disappear around 10 o'clock every single day.
Could be testing equipment. They could be just testing it.
I know it, but when asked, obviously they said they didn't know, but like Air Force and everything said they're not theirs. If they were, they probably wouldn't say they
Sheriffs
were
have no
anyway.
answer.
They would. Like they'd admit it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's Air Force. We got these new fucking super strike drones that work in teams to search out the enemy, but we're not going to tell you what they're doing. We're
Yeah.
not going to
What-
tell you that. Instead of dropping bombs, there's like these little drones come out, like shoot like a fucking cattle prod in someone's head and fly away.
Just like that fucking fake YouTube video. Remember that with all those swarms
Bullet
of
drones?
Ugh, that was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Speaking of fake YouTube videos, did you ever see that new like it was the robotics video? It was the fake one where they're like fighting like pushing the robot over,
Kicking the robot around.
kicking the
yeah,
robot,
yeah.
and gets like the gun and shit, and it's like then it like grabs like the robot dog and runs away.
Yeah. Looks like the
Boston
Boston
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
Looks
got
like
it. Yeah,
exactly.
looks like
It got me
robot.
for about 20 seconds until the first one like pushed it down and they gave it a shock, and I was like, "There's no chance this is real."
It's terrifying.
But it looked really good, like really convincing.
Yeah, well, the last one was fucking drone swarms. Now we have those.
but those Boston robotic robots are actually doing parkour, backflips, front flips,
Fuck, man.
jumping like 4-foot vert boxes. Like
They
it's
don't
insane.
need shotguns.
They don't need shotguns. They
They'll
just
rip us
fucking tear
apart.
your head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. They have pure strength to just pull your arms off,
Oh man.
punch a hole in your chest
Jesus.
It's gonna be them versus the apes.
We need to side with the apes.
for dominance.
We need to side with the
That's
apes.
the next battle. That's the next Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah.
Terminator versus
Defend the
apes.
robots.
Terminator versus the apes.
Yeah.
What else we
I'd
got
pay to
for
see that.
space news?
Physicists calculate how long it'll take to explore the galaxy, and it's
A
brutal.
long time.
Long time.
As you can guess,
What's
the 4 probes we've sent out of our solar system are going to take, they say, over the next million years, we'll be able to map some 7.2 million stars. However, they will not get closer. They will not get closer than like 1 parsec to 60 stars in a million years. That's how many.
Yeah. I know there's a couple models of equations that they use to kind of figure out how long it would take, because I know they use it to factor in, like, if there were a civilization out there that existed since 60 million years after the Big Bang or something like that. However old I don't know the number off the top of my head, but however old that the universe is. So say you had like a spacefaring civilization, and how long it would take them to explore the entire universe.
Yeah.
And
Or at least our galaxy.
right, traveling at maybe even a fraction of the speed of light. Like you'd have to factor in that. I think there's a couple equations for how to figure that out. So you'd have to assume, if they're using the equation based on the speed of our probes, which were launched in like the 70s, 60s.
Yeah, 72
Like,
to 78 or something. They launched 4 probes.
Yeah. And they're not, I mean, they're going fast. Yeah, they're fucking hauling ass, but it's like they're not going that fast. And, not even, I don't know, how fast are they maybe going? Not as fast as speed of light, not even half the speed of light.
Oh, no, they're going something like 1.2 kilometers a second or something.
Right.
Oh, no,
So-
faster than that. I did read that in here, but I fucking lost it.
Right. So if you base it off of that, the time to take to explore the universe would be a really long time, but it gets less. I mean, it's still it's still really high. It's still gonna be like 20,000 years or something like that or whatever, but to explore the entire universe. But if you're traveling closer to the speed of light, less time it takes.
They estimate it. So Alpha Centauri is our closest star, which is 4.37 light years or 1.34 parsecs, which a parsec is the average distance between stars. I think it's like 3.2 or 3.4 light years, something like that.
Not gonna lie, I totally thought that was a made up Star Wars word.
They just used it. They used it wrong in Star Wars.
They
The
did.
Kessel Run or whatever is parsecs. It's not a distance of. It's not a speed distance. It's
Right.
like
100% thought that was a made up fucking Star Wars word.
they just used it
There's
wrong.
been a lot of what I thought would have been made up words today.
Oh man, you want to know what was horrible? The biggest Rickyism of my life.
Yes, let's hear it.
Turns out it's not getting back on the straight and narrow. It's straight and narrow. I've been saying that fucking word the wrong my entire life.
Straight and
What have you
arrow.
been saying?
Straight and arrow.
Straight and arrow.
You've been-
Straightened arrow.
Oh,
You've been saying on the straight and
you've been
arrow.
saying that.
I heard somebody say it slowly, and I'm like, instantly like grab my phone, and start googling. I'm like, oh fuck, really?
Straight. So wait,
Looking like a fucking
That's pretty
asshole.
good.
The straight and arrow.
you've been saying I've been on the straightened arrow.
Yep.
Your whole life.
No, I mean, you don't want to be on a crooked arrow. You want to be on a fucking
You
straight
idiot!
arrow.
I mean, it makes kind of sense.
How often does that come up though in regular conversations?
Enough for me to feel like an asshole.
Enough to realize it.
Honestly, I've heard him say it and I've never corrected him. So I was like,
It's
I
the
would just
truth.
go, oh, that sounds like a smart saying.
Yes, what it is. Straight and
Sounds
arrow.
What else we got? I got a little bit of Aurora news. So if you're watching this on today's date, there is a small chance of auroras in Northern Hemisphere.
Wow.
For the rest of you suckers,
All
not a chance.
suck it, Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Speaking of Southern Hemisphere, quick shout out to all our listeners in Australia. Hopefully everyone's doing all right because there's a lot of burning going on.
Yep. Stay hydrated.
And-
keep your turgor.
And more
Keep your turgor
more money
good.
was raised for the burning of Notre Dame than for Australia, the entire
Yeah,
country.
which is sad.
We.
Which
So
does-
if you want to
sounds
go,
fun.
I have been keeping up on the one story of what was it? The one chick on Twitter who is selling her nudes and has raised over $750,000.
selling nudes.
Yeah. She's like, everybody who messages me for nudes, send me $10, which I'll donate to the fires. And she's made like $750,000.
Let's buy some right now.
far.
Let's buy some right now. What's her name?
boys, I'm
Earth
thinking,
Angel?
forget that. I'm thinking like, let's sell some nudes.
Oh, hey, we already talked about the fucking Polaroids.
How
I'm gonna
much?
throw those in the meat draw.
Hey, Braden, how much would you sell a dick pic for? What would you go for?
Only flaccid though. We've already discussed. It's got to be
Flaccid.
only a flaccid
Oh,
fucking
man.
Polaroid picture. That's
Flaccid-
it.
Does
Flaccid
it have to be my
Polaroid.
whole body? Like you got to look at it and be like, that's
No,
Braden.
like just like the bottom
Or
bottom
just a
of the
zoom
gut.
up, like
Just-
a close up.
No, just like bottom of the
Bottom
gut,
gut.
and like just like the crevices of your fucking thighs and a flaccid ween.
Flaccid
That's it.
ween after you got out of the pool.
There's no difference.
No
The guy looks the same.
How much?
I was in the pool.
Oh, dude.
Anyways, it's crazy what's going on down
I don't
there.
know.
It's bananas.
Probably pretty cheap if I don't have to like.
Pretty cheap.
As long as I could be like, yeah, that's not me.
Well, everyone knows it's you now, so
Yeah.
you know we're spilling
So-
the beans.
Oh,
If you start selling nudes, you'll be the next Brett Favre on the internet.
Well, I mean, we've been tossing around the idea of a calendar, right? So let us know. Taking pre-orders here.
All right.
That's it for
Why don't we
Spaces,
plug up the randomatron and see what pops up?
All right.
Fire that up.
Here we go. Right now. Oh, wait, something's happening.
What's happening?
Something's happening.
What's happening?
Mongoose File!
Woo! By God! By God! Stop the damn pod!
It's been a while.
Been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Tales of a friend of a friend.
Friend of a friend. So obviously this happened to a friend of a friend.
Obviously.
But I'm going to tell the story, so I got to tell it like it's coming from the first person, right?
You
or else
gotta
it just
go
wouldn't
first
sound
person
good. It
first.
just wouldn't
For
sound
continuity.
good.
Get in it. Got to get into it.
I got to
It's
get into
not. It's from a friend of a friend. We
Of
don't
a
even
friend.
know
Of a
this
friend.
person.
I'm also going to say, and this is a little teaser, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell the story, and then after we sign off, I'm going to tell the guys on the podcast who was involved because the person potentially is a famous person, but we're not going to get into that.
We're not going to get into that.
Ooh.
Friend of a friend. Here we come. Mongoose File.
New Year's.
2020.
Get paged out. Unknown age, unconscious male. Location? Some random alley in a big metro city, possibly in BC. Who knows, right? We don't know this.
Mm-mm.
The friend of the friend knows.
Can't know.
Not us. Pull up. And the description was really weird. It's like, beside a fucking big green garbage can, down the road, big steel door. So grab her gear, go, it's fucking weird, right? Walk over to the big steel door. There's no handle, kind of weird. Bang on the door, All of a sudden, one of those little eye hole thing slits opens up. Password. Somebody call 911.
Paramedic.
Thing closes. What the fuck, right? So I'm like, we sure we got the right address? Yeah, right address. Bang on it again. Guy opens up the fucking thing. I'm like, somebody called 911. You know what I mean? You got to let us in type thing. Guy says, wrong password. Slams it shut. So I'm getting fucking pissed off. I start kicking on it, kicking the door. Guy opens it, and I'm like, 911, motherfucker. Let us in, or we're calling the cops. Door opens. Okay, cool.
Did you like a whole bunch of latches go like?
Exactly. Like it was
12
fucking
dead
hilarious.
bolts.
No, it wasn't 12, but there's a couple. Door opens up. Guy dressed in all black. He's got one of those cool little fucking earpieces in. Reaches over down to his wrist and goes, "Hey, did somebody call 911?" And right away, he's like, "Okay, guys, come with me." So we go down this long staircase. And as you're starting to fucking approach, you can hear the bass kind of start bumping. And as you're getting close, you can kind of hear that, that like 80s song, "How does it feel to treat me like you do?" And the music's fucking pumping. And as we go down, it's full on eyes wide shut.
Like fucking masks and shit.
Masks,
and-
suits. You know what I mean? People running around in full fucking animal costumes, like stuffed animal costumes. You know what I mean? And just kind of looking around, looking at my
Furries?
partner. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then somebody kind of runs out from a hallway and is like, this way, like, being free, like telling us to, run. So we kind of briskly walk to follow this guy. As we go by, there's like this giant centerpiece and there's just a guy in a fucking leather thong thrusting to the beat. And people are just sitting there drinking martinis, fucking hanging out. It's super weird. Anyways,
It's quite the visual.
so we book it down this hallway, and I'm like, "So what's going on? Can you give me some information on the situation?" The guy's like, "Sorry, nothing classified." Like, I'm like, "What do you fucking mean it's classified?" Like, you're not helping. Somebody might be fucking dying. Like, you know what I mean? You can't
Here
give
to
me anything.
save lives.
So he brings us to this fucking long hallway, and there's all these doors, and they're all numbered. And I'm talking like 12 doors. This place is huge.
Fuck shack.
Brings us down to fucking door number 9. Lucky number 9. Unlocks the door, walk in. On the wall is this fucking rotund man, fucking chained to the wall in full leather suit. Like I'm talking all that's exposed are his nostrils
And his dick.
and his fucking wiener.
Gimp suit. Yeah.
And I'm like, this
all
guy's
right.
fucking Murray's at full mast. And as soon as and you can hear him screaming, right? You can hear. So I'm like, okay, this guy's obviously still alive. He's yelling. Then you look to your left, and there's a pile of fucking 6 people, like just a mush pile of 6 bodies, all fucking like intertwined, not moving, not looking to be breathing. And you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on in here, right?
Stumbled into some 7 shit
Oh
here.
man, it was so fucking bizarre. So we go over and I'm like, don't worry about this guy. He's got his airways open. He's obviously breathing. So we go over to the mush pile of naked humans. Start going around checking pulses. Okay, you know what? This one's not breathing. This one's not breathing. 3 of them were breathing. 3 of them were not breathing. Check their pupils, pinpoint possible narcotic on board.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Look around. Pile of a suspicious white powdery substance. Maybe some bad blow.
Could be.
So we're in the pile. First thing you got to do when somebody overdoses, you got to control the airway, right? So we're taking turns. I'm talking to my partner. I'm like, hey, you need to drop some fucking Narcan. And I'm sitting there with a bag valve mask and just going from mouth to mouth to mouth, breathing for these people. All well, these other conscious, semi-conscious people who are in this like drugged out state are just fucking like I'm trying to bag these people, and like suddenly my stethoscope just gets like pulled off my neck. And somebody's like grabbing my collar and like rubbing my head. And I'm like, can you fucking stop? Like, oh man, it was so bizarre. So we Narcan all these people. They're all whacked out. It's what we're guesstimating is it's some type of like coke cut with a downer, right? So fentanyl and cut with a benzo, which is causing people to be all this like drowsy, zombie-ish mess.
Slugs.
All naked. So anyways, everybody's breathing now. Everything is good. Okay, let's line these people up. They need to go to the hospital. We have no idea what's going on, you know, with their system. We don't know how long it's going to last. So our Narcan can wear out. These people don't go to the hospital. They're telling us to fuck off, but we're going to sit there and try. All while I'm dealing with these people, like just, you know what I mean? The fucking, it's kind of blended in the background. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I go over to Buddy and I'm looking and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get this guy off this wall? He's legitimately chained to this fucking wall. And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, so he's got a mouth fucking thing on with the zipper. He's got eye zippers on. He's got fucking zippers everywhere. Every single one of these zippers has a lock on it. Every single one of the fucking chains that are chaining to the wall has a lock on it. Right? And we're talking like industrial fucking locks. And I'm like, I've fucking run out of ideas here, man. So the only way to get this guy down is I take my fucking scissors and like adjust them like way too close to another human's fucking member and just fucking like a straight shot, just zip right up the fucking middle of his leather jumpsuit and split it open.
He came out like a beautiful, sweaty,
So
fat
hot.
butterfly.
I fucking wish, buddy. It was horrible. He's like, you thought he was fat before you cut him open. This gut just goes bursting
was
out of
fat.
this
He
fucking
was
leather
fat.
Oh,
suit.
was he all slimy? Was he like
Okay, have you seen fucking It's Always Sunny when Frank comes out of the leather couch naked?
Oh,
It's exactly.
Yeah,
It's
he
like
comes out of the couch.
just fighting this fucking large, sweaty, fat man out of this leather suit. Oh my God, it was fucking horrifying. And that's how I rang in the new year. All right, not me. A friend of a friend of mine rang in the new year.
You know, because of that, I always keep one of those Esso Tiger tails in my car in case I ever run into a party like that.
I don't know what an SO
one
is.
of them.
Oh, it's like it's from back in the day. It's
So I kept one.
hilarious. Wow.
So
I haven't heard that
Now I'm
reference
like,
in a
are
long
these-
fucking time.
Are these like these parties are common in Canada where you're from?
I
Like,
have no idea.
just like you just got to keep one a tail in your thing enough that they
Oh,
pop
no,
up
I've
enough.
never been to one. I've never even heard of one. But just in case.
Just in case.
have-
You wanna be-
Spoiler
you,
alert.
you don't want to walk into the party without a tail?
This is what you.
Spoiler alert,
This is what you
ladies.
have.
Hey, listen.
You got one of these in your car?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
one of the Esso Tiger tails.
Yeah, but here's the spoiler. The chubby, sweaty celebrity, none other than Brady.
So yeah, well, that's nice. You guys rang in the new year together, so that's good.
I was like- the whole time I was going, Andrew, please, get me out.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was fun. I had a good time.
Fun. Sounds like a great New Year's.
It was terrible.
Do your friends save them all? Everyone get saved?
Yeah, it was a relatively, other than the balancing act of oxygenating 3 people.
At first,
kinda hard.
when you started telling this story, I thought you were telling that story about the one time you went in and the guy had died boning the other guy.
Oh no, I already told that story, didn't I?
Yeah, but that's what when you
Yeah.
mentioned, I was like, this seems very
Oh,
familiar.
That was horrible. That man.
Was
that
it the
guy
same building?
No, that's the fucking bathhouse, man. That guy died inside of another person.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Oh, it was gross.
You know what? That's the way to go, though.
I
I
go out,
guess.
you go out banging.
I guess.
I guess so.
I get. Well, you know what? But what about the fucking poor dude on the bottom?
You'll never
Hey.
forget. I
Well, whatever.
a guy died
He's
in
dead.
me.
He doesn't.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
he's-
horrifying.
What does he care now?
Died
He's
in
dead.
me. That's fucked up.
I'm telling you guys right now, when I die, I want my body donated to science and just like I want to be on one of those displays.
I thought you were gonna say, "When I die, I hope it's in another man." That's what I was preparing for. Anyways,
Anyways,
Brain's like, I gotta go out and buy another gimp suit now.
Yeah.
I need another tiger tail.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else? We got a theory of the week, Zell?
I forgot we do that.
Well, while you're thinking of that, meat draw will be announced next week, January 13th. So if you got one last chance. Well, actually, it's too late if you had to get in for December. But
I mean, but still donate.
Final numbers. You can still donate, but if you put in now, you're going to be in for the February draw. No, the January draw. The next draw. It's too confusing. The December Patreons are in for this January draw, and then the January Patreons are in for the February draw. So that'll be announced next week live.
Live in the Randomatron-ish machine that we use.
Yeah.
No, I'm giving theory of the week to a Patreon, new Patreon. Just they're new, they haven't done much yet, but the name is great. It's going out to Mick Booty Sauce.
oh, that is a good name.
Booty sauce.
Yeah, I like that.
New
name.
patron. You know what? We're
Simple
we're
pleasures.
at the point now where it's hard to pick a theory of the week because there's so many people. I don't. We almost have to like make a.
You got to do something to stand out.
We got.
You got to do something fucking crazy, stand out.
Yeah. No nudes.
Yeah.
No one's paying.
No nudes.
No nudes don't get you on the show
nudes. Don't do it.
unless we can show it live. That's probably can't do that. No, but now because YouTube.
just a random flash on the Randomatron.
of erect and flaccid penises.
Yeah, I'm good.
Doesn't want to see anymore.
No, but YouTube's policy has just changed, and now you have to put if you will want to allow underage. If we put 18 plus, can we put wherever we want? I don't know.
I don't know. Just no.
So YouTube, right?
no.
YouTube just changed,
wings.
so either we're going to get removed off YouTube for talking about conspiracies, or we can put dick pics up. I
No,
guess.
I'd say. Let's say there's.
One or
I
the
have
other.
way
One or
too-
the
One or
other.
the other.
I got way too much PTSD, and the P got a different meaning, and I'm not into it.
Yeah.
Anymore. No more random.
You've seen
weenies.
enough dicks in
Enough.
your
No
No
lifetime.
more
this is
random
it.
weenies.
No, thank you.
All right. Well,
You like
let's wrap
art?
this one up.
We got a couple things we got to do.
What do we got to do?
First of all, we got to read some patrons because we haven't done it in a while. And we've had a big turnover. We had a lot of people after the holidays, happens every year. You lose about 15% real quick. Bam, 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 bam. They drop out. But then they come back. New people. And I don't know, do we want to read patrons and reviews? We haven't read reviews in a while. Or we'll save reviews.
Let's just do Patreons. We'll just do reviews today.
Okay, when did we record the last episode? Remember the date? Fuck. Okay, I'll just keep going back until we see one that looks familiar. Newest Patreon supporting the show for at least $1 or more per month. Amanda Dobb, Chase Lovelace, Thomas Kellum, Farmer Phil 80. Period. It's the first period I've seen in a name actually.
Period.
Kelly
Nice.
Kelly Anguiano. I think that was all right. Daniel Sixpack.
Oh yeah.
Prove it. Send it
You just
in.
asked for no fucking nudes, and now you want the guy to show us his abs? Like, come on.
I want
buddy.
any
abs.
nudes.
Make up
Six
your
pack.
mind.
Whoa, prove
Just
it.
abs.
That TV's getting your brain, pal.
Oh, shut up. Send in the abs.
Send abs. Do it.
Axel.
Zell's
Is your
abs
dog
of the
supporting?
week.
Is your dog supporting Patreon?
Of course he is.
Edgar Mendoza. Mick Booty Sauce. They actually pledged for $10. Ron Pond approved. So
Attaboy,
they're in the
fuck
draw.
yeah. Booty.
Anthony. Aurelio Escobar. J. Huere 221. Another period. Samantha. Oh my God. Yochius. Sorry. Brentley Fannin. Joshua Wages. Nazish Hamad. Mara Jones. Truman Finney. Justin Myberg. Jordan Thurman. Is it sounding familiar yet? Or we should keep going. A couple more. Bradley Russell. Neo Moon Art. That's to December 16th. I think that's
I think we heard
She
that
came back. I think she came back.
She came back?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for returning. And if you're new to the show, thanks for supporting. We are really putting our effort in to put out even more content than we have been. So
It's gonna be a good year for podcasting.
good year. We got a lot coming. All our new podcasts
New
we're
year,
recording.
new us.
All our new podcasts we're recording are going to our Patreon first before they're released to the public. We still are doing our ATD confidentials. We just released the long anticipated Dungeons and Dragons number 3. With 2 more to follow very shortly.
Two more Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, we played for 4.5 hours, so I split them up because
Best 4.5 hours of my life.
so fun. It was
That's pretty good.
that was so fun.
So fucking bad.
Listening
at
to it
Dungeons and
again is
Dragons.
always funny because it's just like, goddamn.
So bad.
It was so fun.
Yeah. If you like, I skipped ahead because I was like, oh, I've heard the intros because I watched the video when I was editing. And so I skipped ahead and I was like, because I listened to a little bit of the start, I was like, oh, we got drunk.
Oh fuck! I got fucking Well, you roll enough ones, you get
Yeah, we
fucking
did.
blackout, man. I was
The reactions of
loser.
you rolling ones were so funny because you rolled like 9 in 2 hours.
Yeah, which means I chugged 9 fucking drinks.
Finished all your beer before we're halfway done.
Oh man, that was bad.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up, man. This has been a long ass podcast today. Getting into a 2-hour range here.
Holy
So
That's a 1 hour and 45 minute podcast. I'm going to play, because there's no band of the week this week, another one of my songs, my band, Lucky Monkey. Not Couple of Monkeys. Don't say the joke.
A couple of monkeys.
I shut it down before
Wasn't
it came
gonna
out.
say it.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Braden,
gonna
I
say
can
it,
see
but now you
Braden.
said it.
As soon as I said Lucky Monkey, he was like, he was about to say it.
Is this the new hit song? I'm not a vampire.
This is, you called it. It's actually called Traces of Love.
Traces of vampirism.
Could be interpreted whatever way you want.
all right. As we always say at the end, keep those eyes on the skies. Thanks, everyone.
Peace.
You better get on top and pray.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place. That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.